this is massive. What you think creates certain emotions, and emotions kind of like activate certain hormones. And it's a huge thing when you think about it. So when you start thinking about something in the past, something that was causing you harm in any kind of sense, so you were, for example, in a huge mental suffering because, I know, your family member died, or they got into some sort of an accident, or I don't know, you were being bullied in school and stuff like that. And so when you think back about, or when you imagine that situation, and since that situation was so horrible, it's kind of like imprinted in your brain, and so you will always recall that situation. And whenever you recall that situation, you will feel the same emotions as you felt during that time. Of course, they won't be as severe as they were right at that moment as it was happening, but still, it's kind of like a replicated situation in your head. And even though it's not really happening in the real world, it still creates like the same, or it evokes the same reaction as if it was actually happening in the real life. So you probably had the same instances when you had your exams coming up, and you imagined writing those tests and maybe even getting a horrible score or not passing those exams in general, and you suddenly started to feel the pressure, the stress, and the anxiety from that. Or when you imagine yourself approaching a certain girl on the streets that's kind of beautiful, you start to feel that anxiety as well, that stress of approaching a girl. And it's kind of interesting because even though you haven't really done that situation, you already feel the emotions that you would feel once you approach her. And what's funny is that if we are imagining a scenario which will happen in the future, we don't really know what kind of emotions it will really evoke. It's only that we fear a certain possibility that might actually not happen. But I'm not going to talk about fear and stuff like that. I'm mostly talking about this crazy phenomenon which is just being uncovered, especially by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you know him, probably not. He wrote books such as Placebo, as well as Becoming Supernatural or something like that. I have read both of those books, and basically he covers this point in those books. And it's just crazy to think about it, that basically when you imagine a certain situation or a scenario which happened in the past, you are somewhat like reliving that past over and over again. As well as if you are thinking about a future scenario or situation, somewhat like the same thing is happening because you are reliving the same situation over and over again, even though you don't really know what kind of emotions it will evoke or what kind of feelings you will have and stuff like that. And especially it's horrible when you are imagining something that's bad, so it evoked bad emotions. And what's wrong about that is that essentially your thoughts create your emotions, or they create a certain emotional state which you will find yourself in, and those emotions will trigger certain hormones to be released. So I don't know, if you are stressed or you are imagining a stressful situation, your body will create cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And I'm not going to go into the science because I am not a scientist or a doctor or anything like that, but just bro science in this video. So basically, always keep in mind that if you are imagining something that happened to you in the past and it was horrible, you are putting your body in the state of how it felt or how it was during that situation. And so if it was a bad situation, you already know the science behind when your body is going through like fight or flight mode, and that it's stressed. It certainly isn't a condition that you want to keep your body in for a long amount of time. And so instead of thinking about those bad situations, what you can do is just think to yourself that the situation has already passed, so I shouldn't think about it anymore. and you can't influence the past. It's an indifferent situation because it's not hurting us anymore. So why should we think about it? And as I mentioned, we can't influence the past as well as we can't influence the future. So it's also an indifferent situation to us. So we shouldn't basically the main point of this video is for you to keep in mind that whatever are your thoughts are also something that will influence your state of your body, basically. So your health, your mental state, and so on. But literally, if you think about a bad situation, I'm always going to go back to that example. You will literally somewhat impair the balance of your body. You will create that, or you will get into that fight or flight mode. And so essentially, just to summarize the whole point of this video, is that your thoughts create certain emotions. Those emotions then trigger certain hormones. And what hormones are? They are basically molecules which are messengers in the body, so they activate certain parts of your body and they regulate stuff and so on. So technically you influence your own health by your thoughts alone. And the funniest or the most interesting part about this is that it's not only connected to negative stuff but also to the positive stuff. So when you are thinking about something positive which happened to you, or you are thinking about something positive that will happen, you will trigger your body to release positive hormones, which will in turn put you to positive mood. They will also supplement your good health because of course they are positive hormones. So they do the opposite thing of negative hormones. And so this is practically the point which I wanted to mention. Maybe I will make a future video which will explain it in more detail or just better in general. And if you like this video and you find yourself having the same frequency as I have, so we can somewhat understand each other, we know that we are going in the same direction in terms of knowledge, in terms of life decisions and so on, then you can check the first link in the description. And if you want to learn something else or you want to raise your awareness in a different kind of topic in the same niche, then you can watch this video next.